Alright, I told you it would be quick. Here we are with our first run, Hotshot Racing by Viper. Viper, take it away.
Okay, so hello everybody. Hope we're all good. Welcome to Hotshot Racing. This was a unique little game that came out during the pandemic, I think, just the year after it all kicked off, so 2021. Now, this game is seen as unique in its art style, first and foremost. I believe it's cel-shaded, similar to one or two other racing games. It's something that's not done too often in the racing game genre as a whole. Video games it is, but not in the racing scene as much. But yeah, so what we will be doing today, just to quickly run through a few things. So there are, as you can see, 5 Grand Prix. We're doing Grand Prix 1 to 4. The reason why we're not doing the 5th one, I don't know. To tell you the truth, but each race, each championship, each Grand Prix has 4 races in them, so we're doing 16 races altogether. You've got normal, hard, and expert. We're going to be doing the normal. We're going to be using the Super PF90, I think it is, which is like an F1 car. It's very fast and things like that. Because it's on normal, I'll explain a little bit in a second. But yeah, we'll get into the run first and foremost. So if we're ready to go on the time. Now, it is worth noting we're going to use Kaiko here. And it's the Super F90, sorry. Now, for the sake of things, I'm going to be using manual gears here. It is faster, only slightly, but it's one of those things. So, if we're ready on time, I'll give you a countdown. So, we'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Okay, so the first Grand Prix is called the Tour. Now, this being similar to a, what's it called? It's very, very similar to a Mario Kart sort of game. Now, a few things to note. Soundtrack's banging, by the way. So, one of the things that you'll notice is in the bottom right-hand corner, we have a boost bar. Now, the boost bar is something that we're going to want to continuously get filled up. And we're going to try and save it as and when we can. Now, we have the slipstream element here, and we're going to be using that a fair bit. There is one thing that I definitely need to point out here. So first and foremost, the way that this game works in terms of its difficulties. Now, I didn't actually know about this too well when I first ran this, but the 3 difficulties, the normal, hard, and expert, are basically like 50cc, 100cc, and 150cc, like you get in Mario Kart. So basically what that means is, for those that haven't really played Mario Kart or played this themselves, it basically means that the cars on the 50cc, or on the non-difficulty in this case, all have the same sort of top speed. It means that it's very difficult to pull away from the AI. Doesn't matter how hard you try, you can't pull away from the AI. Whereas in the hard and expert difficulties, if you get ahead, you can pull away because you have the higher top speed. The AI are more difficult at the harder difficulties, as you've no doubt, guessed. But yeah, that's something. Also, the music tends to speed up a bit when we're on the final lap as well. So the world record for this, as it stands right now, so bear in mind that the run is mainly timed via in-game time more than RTA. But the RTA is probably about 2 minutes difference, a minute different, if that. So the world record is currently 35:45.23, which is set by Vizixen, I believe it is. And yeah, to kind of cut long story short, yeah, that's pretty much how it all works. Anyway, with that being said and done, that is the first race done and dusted. And yeah, we're now off to our next race. Now, one of the things I will point out is that when you play on manual gears, you can't set the what's it called? You can't actually set the controls, so you do have to work with what the game gives you. Now, one thing I should point out is you notice that I get to a certain amount of revs. Just like in Mario Kart, this game has a specific amount of revs that you can hit with the car. And once you do hit it with said car, what this allows you to do is it allows you to, well, as you might imagine, get a boost start. So that's what we're going to be doing in all of the races. Now, in automatic gears, the car doesn't change up fast enough, whereas with manual, we can automatically trigger the highest gear as, a lot faster than, you know, like the game would actually give you. So that's one of the things that we're going to be doing a lot at the start. Now, as I was saying, so the cars in this game as well, like in most unique video games, racing games amongst others, is the cars you can see on screen are supposedly rip-offs of real-life cars. So that car that Aston is driving is like a Jaguar E-Type from the 1960s, like a clone of it. Obviously, we're supposed to be driving some sort of like hill climb or F1 style car, if we can. And one thing I will definitely mention that's very key is that we need to make sure that we have at least, if I can get it anyway, try and get a, oh, there we go. I don't know why it's lagging so much, but anyway, there we go. I want to try and make sure that we save at least one of the nitruses for the end, because if we save a nitrous for the end, it means it's a lot easier in terms of keeping ahead of the AI and winning the race. So this is our first, as you can see, this is our first race that we are going to do, which involves dirt and tarmac. Now, it's worth noting, doesn't matter, as I said before, it doesn't matter how much you try and keep ahead of the AI, they will always be on your tail with the normal difficulty, which is a shame, really, because it means you can't pull away. But, like I said, it's very similar in terms of its structure, in terms of the, like, if you want to call it being given a handicap. But yeah, it's one of the things. It's also, as well, I could actually recommend this game to a fair few people as being enjoyable because of the fact that overall the game is one of them games that, including for me as well, is very pick up and play. So when I first picked this game up, so I bought it on, well, it was on, I think it was on a Steam sale in 2022, and I was like, you know what, yeah, I'll pick it up, I'll play it. And I'm not usually the one for playing Mario Kart stuff that much. Mario Kart doesn't really do it for me. So I picked this up, and I'd heard a little bit about it and things like that. And as I played it, I was like, oh, this is quite fast-paced, you know, not intense, but a bit fast-paced at times. And yeah, I ended up, like I said, ended up buying it, quite enjoyed it, and here we are, I'm speedrunning it right now. So yeah, it did take a fair bit to kind of learn patterns and things like that. It's also worth mentioning that AI can, if you're unlucky, they can take you out. Ideally, if you get taken out, you want it to happen at the start of a race, rather than obviously near the end, because, well, you got took out near the end, then not great. It's all about points, by the way. This is all a points game, more than anything else. But I wouldn't worry too much about that. Now, there's certain parts you can boost in. Ideally, you want to be constantly racking up boost and things like that, amongst others. And if I can get it. There we go. Nice, I can get it. Good stuff. There we go, nice. So that is Temple Drive done. So the races we've done so far, we've done the Marina, Area 41, and Temple Drive. This is called Castle Fun Fair. Now, one thing I will mention straight off the bat is that the track design is very simplistic, and which I think, to be quite honest, is another reason why, as I was saying before, that this game is very pick up and play for the most part, and welcomes a lot of new players into the racing genre, I guess. Like, anyone that has played a racing game will probably go, oh, well, it's probably Need for Speed. I mean, in this day and age, it's more like sim racing, because sim racing is dominating the racing market. But That's not to say there aren't little gems like this that pop up on the radar. Firstly, in my humble opinion, you have racing games that are made for a genuine audience, and you have racing games that are dedicated towards Simcade. This was one that was dedicated towards a genuine audience, which doesn't matter whether you were a racing person, you liked racing games, or you hated them because, I don't know, your brother or your sister used to beat you at them. This is the sort of game that, being honest, more than anything else, is quite fun to play. Not only is it quite fun to play though, but there's another thing to point out. So, I brought up a couple of times, on a couple of occasions, Mario Kart. Well, coincidentally, this is kind of the game you would get had Mario Kart not included blue shells and red shells. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a fair statement. Now, one of the things I will definitely say here is you can easily, and I mean easily, he says, there we go. You can easily do that, and that wins it. Also, at the end of every single one, you go onto that podium there. So, with that being said, there we go. We've now moved. That's our first Grand Prix done. We now move on to the Pro Circuit, which we have a first race of, which is Boneyard. Firstly, for me, the first race is the hardest one of the lot, because that's the one where all the AI will be getting in your way quite a fair bit. Also, how does an F1 car drift like this? I do not know. So you can see here as well that a lot, as I was saying, some more car examples here. We have a Porsche 959 ripoff. We have an Aston Martin Vantage ripoff, which is what Aston's driving, ironically enough. So there's the Porsche. Or Porsche, I think people pronounce it. I don't think there's a right or wrong way to pronounce it. And then we have Mike, who's in a Celine S7. The other thing is, as well, is the characters. So, the characters will often drive cars which supposedly represent their nationalities. So, the cars that Aston drives, for example, are... yeah, the vehicles that he drives are more or less down to... I'd say... Actually, what are they down to? I'd say the fact that... Because Aston's supposedly English, he's British. And most of the cars that he drives are British vehicles. And it's like, you've got Mike, who's American. He drives, like, American vehicles. Kaiko, who we're playing as, she's Japanese. And don't really remember an F1 car being Japanese. But I guess you could say Super Formula, which, for those that don't know, is a... open wheel racing championship held exclusively in Japan. There are drivers that come from all over the world to compete in it, by the way. So yeah, that kind of opens your eyes a little bit. Yeah, so the soundtrack can be... The soundtrack's a very nice touch in my book. I also do like, as well, one thing that I've never really took much notice of when playing, but I have this time around, is you'll notice the, like, speed lines, I guess. And they look very familiar to anyone that's seen, like, a Initial D, I guess, or played Initial D, or watched it. So, yeah. But, yeah, if anyone has any particular questions about this game, then feel free to go ahead and ask. I'm more than open to answer any questions whilst I'm doing this run, because for the most part, you can see here as well, that this track is not ironic, it's very similar to the one we did before. So expect a couple of repeated tracks, except when you're going backwards like now, the track doesn't feel the same, which is really weird, to be honest. Also, this car has I think the highest top speed out of everything. That's why we use this car, by the way. So, just so people are aware. But yeah, unsurprisingly, the guys that really know the stuff, like I said, Vixen for one, who's really good at the game, would highly recommend checking him out, is the fact that, you know, it's a case of practice makes perfect, just like it is with any racing game, really. For me, this has been a game since I first picked it up. It has been a game that I've enjoyed running and learning. I did a run of this game, this category as well, in particular, when I was at ESA Winter a couple of months ago. So I actually was quite honoured to be able to perform that on stage. And literally, the thing is, again, just to go back to it, is most racing games do get given a bit of stick because it's a case of, oh, he's just racing cars around the track. Whilst that is very true, you get games like this where it's not all about how fast you can do it, it's about playing it tactically. Well, in this case it is. I don't know about the hard and expert, I have not tried them yet, so I can't say much on them ones. But for this one's very when to use your boost and everything like that. Also, that was basically free, so I'll take that. Nice. So there's several ways that you can get a boost on this. You can drift, and you can also do slipstreaming, which is really cool. And I'm also going to use my last boost here, so that should just get me to the line. Yes, it does. Good stuff. Nice. That's Fossil Cave done. We're now on to Ocean World, which is very colourful. It also goes through an aquarium as well. Now, one of the things about this game, as I was saying before, is its design. So it's graphic and it's art design. It's very, very cool, very, very unique. And it's not something that, like I said before, it's not something that is often seen in racing games. So for the most part, the last game that I remember that used such an art style was Automobilista, if anyone remembers playing that for the PlayStation 2 or the Nintendo GameCube. But yeah, we had to go through some very unique, interesting, very unique environments. That's what I was looking for. That was the word I was looking for. So yeah, like I said, for a game that only came out like 2 years ago, this is pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie, very, very cool. Yeah, we get to go through this nice aquarium. You can get a dolphin flip as well, so that's pretty neat. But yeah, Zing is supposed to be driving like a Porsche 911 here, and Marcus is driving a McLaren F1 GTR, similar to the one that was used in the mid to late 90s Le Mans races, which funnily enough has just run its 100th iteration. So yeah, it's just one of them things. Like for me, I don't often take too much notice of like the design for certain games, but for me when I played this, I really got used to it. Also, Alexa's driving one of my favourite cars. Not the fastest by any stretch, but it's a really cool car, which is like a Dodge Viper ripoff, which is very nice. So I'm hoping with a bit of luck, I can maybe get this. Yeah, we can do this. I think we can do this. Nice. Ooh. I like that, that's fine. And across the line, there we go. Good stuff. That's Ocean World done and dusted. We're now on to Royal Roadway, which is set in, supposedly like a temple of some kind. Now one of the things is with this as well is this race can be very tricky. So we do have to be very careful, especially near the start here. So the AI come at you at rocket speed, and this is actually one race that you either want to be miles ahead of or not very far ahead of, because the AI will just completely slaughter you if you're not careful. Especially when it comes to this particular one. So I'm going to try and save up a little bit of boost here. Say that. Aston's got ahead, but not for long. Oh boy, okay. Toshiro's got that past us, that's fine. This is very similar to one of the races that we did before. Now, one of the things that I've had on this before is that it happened during the ESA run. I don't know if it'll happen this run, but we had a near enough a complete wipeout at the start of like the end of the last lap, and luckily because of the amount of speed and everything like that, you really can make some incredible you can make up some incredible time on the AI. Like I was saying, so the normal difficulty is like the 50cc mode in Mario Kart. So it's no matter how hard you try, you can't really pull away from the AI too much. Which I think is also another reason why this category is quite fast and quite short, is because the AI constantly keeps up with you. No matter how much you boost, it generally just doesn't matter how much you boost. The AI will, as you can see, they'll still keep up with you. Also, the music goes faster. I think I was saying this before. Hopefully we can get past. So we got Toshiro and we got Mike. So I want to try and make sure I'm not too far behind, but not too far ahead. This is where the strategy comes into play. So we're hopefully going to try keep ahead. Oh. Now, I do want to try and get at least, if I can here, have a full 3 bar. Yep, there we go, like that, so I can just boost all the way. Nice, there we go. And that is the second GP1, which means we now move on to Racing Elite. There we go. And we're now moving into Racing Elite. This is the third GP out of 4. The first one is Dino Dash. Now, this one can be a bit tricky. Also, the 2 cars on our left and right, so we have Victor in a Lamborghini Murcielago, Aston's in like a Bentley Speed 8, someone was in a old Corvette Stingray clone, I think it is. So up the front we have Mike, who's in, I'm guessing like a Shelby Cobra or something. Toshiro is in a Nissan Skyline clone. Like I said, most of the... This is technically how some game developers get away with licensing, because all the vehicles that are in this game are very look-alike for the most part. So that's definitely something. Is the game PC exclusive? So you can pick this up on Steam, but I do believe this also released on the Nintendo Switch, the PS4 and the Xbox One. Whether it's out on the PS5 or Xbox Series X, I don't know. So I couldn't really say. Also, Mike doing a great job there. I will say the environments look pretty spectacular. So this one's called Dino Dash, but I would probably more likely call this Jurassic Park, the circuit. You even have a T-Rex in there and things like that, which is pretty cool, pretty unique. Also, don't think because the AI are getting ahead at the front means that they're going to pull away, because they're not, as you can see. Can easily keep up with them, and they can easily keep up with us, so I'm kind of out of luck on that regard. Oop. Try to take me down, very nice. You really don't want me to win this, but you know what? We're going to try our best. So ideally, I want to be trying to boost as much as possible in this race. It's not exactly the easiest race in the world to do that, but you can do it. You can get it to... yeah, you can get it to fill up a bit faster. Well, all the things that I will say in this, which is a mechanic which I don't think is like useful. It's not similar to anyone that's played Ridge Racer, by the way. Will know that in the later games you had a recharge function, which is after you used the nitrous, you got a chance to recharge or refill your boost bar, essentially. And yeah, that's something that isn't in this game. If it was, that would probably make this like really OP completely. Also, that's Dino Dash done. So we're on to Heated Highway next. A Heated Highway takes place on a tropical island and also drives through a volcano. There we go. Oh, steady on. A few lag spikes there, but we can gloss over that. It's fine. That can sometimes happen, but don't worry about it. Nothing to be worried about. This is another thing to keep you on your toes. Not only is the AI like on you like a rash, but also you have a timer at the top. So again, sticking with true arcade game fashion. So these particular two corners are a bit tricky, so I'm going to try and hopefully stay away from these guys. So this, for some reason, this reminds me of a Hot Wheels style track. So one of the games that I've done a speedrun of in the past, not for this particular marathon, but overall, is the Hot Wheels Stunt Track Challenge game. I think it came out back in, I think it was 2003, I want to say. It reminds me of very like Hot Wheels style sort of game. Obviously, I know Hot Wheels got a new game released in 2021, coincidentally the same year this came out. There we go. Nice. So surprisingly, that was, even though it was a bad lap, I could still get away with that, which was nice. So if you drift close to corners, they don't give you more boost or anything like that. The way you earn boost is via drifting and also via the slipstream mechanic, which on the normal difficulty is extremely overpowered. Like, you can come from half a mile back and still beat the other guys. You see what I mean here? So, kind of to prove the point there. Just about snagged it at the line. God damn, that was close. Okay, that was very close. We just about clutched that one. So this is another track which is relatively straightforward and can get taken out if you're not careful. This is actually one that I got took out when I was doing my ESA run back in February. One of the things you can actually do with this as well is you can, if you drift towards one of the cars, you can actually push them and it'll make you drift in a straight line, which is quite cool. I don't know how this is. I think this is a bit of a faster gimmick overall, but basically if I do this, so I can still go straight, but I can still drift like this. So it allows me to still fill that boost bar up, which is quite cool. For some reason, when I see this track, I always think it was probably set in like Switzerland or Austria or something like that. It has that very, I don't know, Swiss Alps vibe to it, maybe, I guess you could call it. So when I'm ideally behind somebody, I ideally want to be drafting them or drifting when I'm in front. So here comes the AI, right on cue. Thank you very much. That allows me to keep boosting for a bit longer. Yeah, it does remind me a bit of like I said, Swiss Alps maybe, something like that, French Alps. Oh boy, let's have a look. See how we get on. So you actually, oh yeah, that's something as well. If you crash into a wall when you're drifting, for example, you will actually lose your boost. Anything that you've accrued. So you can see that there's points at the bottom. The longer you keep a drift going, the more points you get. And also, like I said, doesn't matter how much I try and push these AI, they will never disappear. I can never get them out of my rear view. They'll always be able to just latch on. There we go. So I'm going to try and make sure I get at least 3 bars of boost. So if I can do it as well, I might be able to... Maybe? I don't know if I can do it. I will try my best. There we go. Okay, we got it. We got it. Nice. Pretty good. So that's Alpine Town done. Now we're on to Casino Run. Casino Run is basically the game's rendition of Las Vegas. There is actually another race that's in the 4th GP, which is just as difficult and just as chaotic. And yeah, that's also pretty difficult. There we go. Ooh, hello. Nice. too bad. So for now you think, oh, okay, so this doesn't look too bad. It's when we get down to the other end down here that, there you go. So this is like the Las Vegas bit here. Also, I've not even mentioned this yet. So I've said about the characters, but each character actually has an ending story. So when you beat a GP with one of the characters, you get a unique ending for that character. Not for each individual Grand Prix, it's every time you just finish a Grand Prix. Also, I'll just quickly nip through here like this, and this is what I mean about the slipstream being ridiculously OP. How you can easily get back to the front in a flash. There we go. You can see I'm half a mile behind him, and I'm already catching and passing him. Just like that. Yeah, so for the most part, it's relative. Again, this game is relatively straightforward, but anyone got any questions about it, feel free to mention them. If you played this game before, what did you make of it? Also, the AI tends to hit that corner on the inside, so I tend to want to stick on the outside as well. I'm not sure how much you can pick this game up for. I believe it's cheap to get hold of, and if you see it on Steam, definitely grab it. It's a pretty good game if you get it on a bargain, especially on, obviously on Steam, because why not? So that was me using like a good chunk of my boost there, and now the AI is all over me again, like it would be, you know. Now, here comes the fun part now, seeing what happens to these two. So, you can try and stay in their slipstream if you wish to do so, but I would not highly recommend it. Sorry, I highly wouldn't recommend it. There you go. There we go. So I'm going to use a boost here because I believe you can get. There we go. Get another boost. And then get some boost to get us across the line. Jets and everything, and across the line. There we go. And that is us winning the third Grand Prix. We have one more to go, which unsurprisingly has the hardest races in the entire game. So again, fairly straightforward, not too much to it. But yeah, these races can be a bit more difficult. We've got Ski Paradise now, Temple Ruins, Downtown, which is the difficult one, and Sea View to round it out, which gives a lot of gives us a bit of outrun, you know, outrun vibes, because, you know, why not? Nice. Yeah, so time is going to be when we finish this, not this race, but when we finish this GP. So probably in about, say about 10 minutes, give or take. Yeah, so this game is timed via IGT over RTA. There's always the reason why, if you do have a game that's timed in IGT, at least do RTA runs, just so you can, just so you know how long it takes. It's probably just a word of warning for anybody, whether you run a marathon or not. The RTA times still matter, it's just a case of, for the sake of marathons. I think most people at this point know that, but for those that don't, yeah, there you go. Anyhow, moving back to the game a bit here. So yeah, this came out in 2021, I believe it was, or 2020, round about there. There was also another game I just want to bring people's attention to, which also released on the in the racing games market, called Horizon Chase Turbo. Now it does have a sequel that's currently out, but would highly recommend giving that a pick up and play as well. That's also quite cool. Because of the fact that the game's art style as a whole is very similar to that of it's very similar to that of interesting. Thanks, Mike. Very similar to that of Outrun and the classic Outrun games, that is, and games such as Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge that released back for the Amiga and ZX Spectrum back in the 80s. If anyone here has played those sort of games, then I'll definitely recommend Horizon Chase Turbo for that. Again, that's also another thing. Horizon Chase Turbo does have a few short runs. Also, thanks, guys. It's fine. We can make this back from here. So I'm going to see if I can catch these guys up. Should be able to. Now, luckily, the drifting and my slipstreaming is definitely something. Nice. And easily, that's another thing as well. If you boost and use the slipstream, the cars can reach a lot higher of a top speed than. So like you see that when I'm doing my when I'm boosting, I'm getting like 200. I can get to 200 in drafting, so imagine what happens if you boost and you have drafting at the same time. Yeah, your car goes really fast. And it can go so quick, it's ridiculous. So yeah, it's like I said, nothing too much to say, but if you see this on Steam and it happens to be on sale, I'd highly recommend giving it a try. Giving it a play for yourself. Even if you're not a racing person, it's still a fun game to just pick up and play. So yeah, definitely recommendation from me. Good recommendation from myself. Don't get me wrong, the soundtrack's not the best I've ever heard for a racing game, but again, you want it to be sort of action-packed at times and things, so there is that. So I'm hopefully going to be able to pull this off. Yep, should be able to. Nice. So that is Temple Ruins done. We're now on to Downtown, which, as you can see, is quite difficult. So, Downtown is, in my opinion, the Achilles heel of the run for anyone that's played this. For some reason, I don't know why, but yeah, it's this particular corner here that I'm hoping I don't get too screwed over from. Nope. Okay, not bad. Bad so far. It's just them particular corners. The rest of it is a cakewalk, to be honest. So it's not too bad. I actually think as well a lot of the tracks have a unique, not just a unique style, but as in the environments, but also I think the music's unique for each circuit, which is really cool because it's not often you have unique songs for unique tracks sort of thing. Most of the time it's just here's the soundtrack, we'll stick it over the top, and that's it. Whereas with this, it actually does have a different soundtrack depending on the track itself. Also, Toshiro there in a Toyota Supra, I think it is, as a clone there. So unsurprisingly, of course, it's going to be good in this race. Also, too soon, Junior, too soon. I'm actually going to make sure that I don't get too far ahead of Toshiro here. Simply because of the fact that Toshiro's going to be quicker than me anyway. But I ideally want someone that I can just draft when I get a chance. And you can also, like I said, you can also use them to drift on if you want, like this. So I basically was using them to just drift. I was like, yeah, why not? Nice. I think we're not going to do too bad here. I think we're going to be pretty good. Yep. So should be able to keep ahead of Toshiro for the end here. And across the line. There we go. One more race to go. This one is Seaview. This is the final race in the game. And time is going to be when I cross the line here. There we go. So probably about another 2 and a bit minutes, give or take. But this one is also quite chaotic as well if you're not careful. So you do need to be careful on that one. On that one side. As you can see here, the AI really pounds you if you're not careful, so you do need to be careful. Again, we've got Victor. Aston's also going for it. He tried as he might. No success for you, I'm afraid. So this particular one, you want to save around 2, maybe 3 bars of boost for this main straight here. If you can save around 2 or 3 bars, then that's pretty good. But obviously, you want to be going quick. We don't want to be going at a snail's pace, do we? No, why would we? Nice. So for the most part, I actually just... I try not to use too much boost in this race because I can, if I so desire. Like, I could easily, you know, use the boost here and go, yeah, okay, that's fine. But then, if I was going to use my boost, then I'd want something that, you know, definitely keeps me going. Like that. I can still take the lead here. But, oh, it's alright. Aston's in front of me. No, I'm in front of him. There we go. And I'll use the boost at the end of that lap. Yep, so time is going to be coming up. Probably about 40 seconds or something like that. So get ready on time. Don't think this is going to be a PB, but... ah, well. We're not here for a PB, we're here for audience purposes. So I'm going to hopefully try and get, if I can, it's going to be difficult to do from here. Hopefully try and get at least 3 bars of boost here. Which is going to be difficult, because... there we go. Oh, forget it, I guess I'm using one. And... time! There we go. And that's it. That's the run done and dusted. So it was 40 minutes, 12 seconds I got on my end, but that was because it times. We've got an auto split at times when it starts and finishes. Yeah, this is Keiko's unique ending that she has.
That is all that matters.
And she drives off into the sunset, and that's it. And that is your lot. But yeah, definitely give this game a try if you can. Would highly recommend it. So for those who don't know, there is the GP 1 to 4 that I've just done. There's that. You can do it on normal, hard, and expert. There's categories for each difficulty. The harder difficulty, the faster the cars get, and you can actually pull away from them in the expert difficulty and the hard a little bit as well. Normal keeps it very tight and compact and more fun, I think. Which is also another reason why this category is quite a fun one to do. So the other thing that I should probably mention as well is that there is the GP5, which if I go on here, you can see here there's a GP5 which is boss level. And it has 4 races there that are quite unique. Some of them are a bit difficult, some are relatively easy. That has its own unique category, although I think it should be you do all the GPs. But the way the game works is you have to beat the first 4 GPs to unlock the 5th. The 5th one's locked straight from the get-go. But obviously you can beat them and things like that. So there is a unique category just for GP5, which is very short. I think it's like 10 minutes or something like that. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. I think it's the 100% as well, which you do normal, hard, and expert on everything. I don't know if anyone's tried that, but if they have, that's probably a long one. I'd say it's probably about 2.5, 3 hours. Maybe it's doable. But on my actual personal note, I just want to quickly say 1 or 2 final things before I shoot. First thing, thank you to the Mediocres marathon event for allowing me to participate in, I believe it's their first ever speedrun event. I really appreciate you for accepting me and being able to run this game. Definitely will be coming back in the near future, so expect to see me submit for a future installment. A lot of fun. quite enjoyed it. Secondly, as well, where you can find me over at Viper Races on Twitch. And yeah, I mainly do racing games for the most part. I've recently been playing through the Far Cry 3 game and Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, which is its DLC, I guess. So I've been playing through those. Yeah, I usually do racing games first and foremost. So you can find me usually doing like Colin McRae Rally, the Dirt series, which is the same sort of, it's the same series, just it's slightly different. Driver games, maybe Need for Speed from time to time, things like that. Yeah, would highly recommend, as I was saying before, highly recommend picking this game up, Hotshot Racing, and definitely giving it a try if you can. Same with Horizon Chase Turbo, the other game that I mentioned as well. They are made by different developers, but if you see this on Steam or just on like the Xbox Marketplace or PlayStation Store, definitely pick this up. You won't regret it. Even if you're not into arcade races or racing in general, I still think you'll get some fun out of this. And yeah, that's just been about it from me. Thank you very much once again, everybody, for watching this and for having me to the Mediocres events staff. And yeah, have a great rest of the event. Thank you very much.